Kyle Richards has shared many close friendships throughout her years on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but few have held as steady and supportive a presence as her bond with Teddi Mellencamp. What began as an on-camera partnership grew into something far deeper, something Kyle often describes as a chosen family connection. The two women have weathered life's highs and lows together. Whether they were navigating personal transitions, adjusting to new paths in their relationships, or facing emotional challenges behind the scenes, they found themselves leaning on each other with rare loyalty and understanding. According to Kyle, that shared history has turned their friendship into something unshakable. You go through real life with someone long enough, and you stop seeing them as just a friend, Kyle has said during interviews. They become part of your world in a way that's hard to explain. That's what Teddi is for me. Bonding through change. Over the past few years, both Kyle and Teddi have dealt with significant changes in their home lives. Their respective separations from Mauricio Umansky and Edwin Arroyav brought them into a new chapter, one that required vulnerability, emotional clarity, and a willingness to rebuild. As they navigated those shifts, they found themselves on the phone at all hours, sharing everything from logistical frustrations to the quiet moments of uncertainty that come after major life transitions. Kyle has openly acknowledged that having Teddi by her side during such a difficult period was a source of comfort. "We were both trying to find solid ground again," she reflected. "There were days I didn't even know what I needed, but getting a text from her, or a call where she'd say, 'You're going to get through this,' made all the difference." Teddi, in turn, relied on Kyle during some of her own most overwhelming moments. Their connection strengthened not because everything was easy, but because they were willing to show each other the parts of life that weren't glamorous, the kind of honesty that reinforces lifelong bonds. A friendship tested and strengthened. As Teddi continued to focus on her health and long-term well-being, Kyle stepped into a role that blended friend, motivator, and quiet supporter. Instead of focusing on the medical specifics of Teddi's journey, which she has discussed publicly elsewhere, Kyle emphasized the emotional reality of watching someone you love go through a challenging period. "It's really tough to see someone you care about facing something heavy," Kyle said. "You start thinking about how unpredictable life can be, and how important it is to show up for the people you love." Kyle rarely speaks about the more private details of what Teddi experiences day to day, choosing instead to highlight Teddi's strength and the depth of their bond. What matters most to her is that they've come through each storm with more appreciation for each other than ever before. Teddi's openness and vulnerability. In return, Teddi has been dedicated to sharing what she can with her followers, especially when it comes to maintaining emotional balance during difficult seasons. On her podcast with Tamra Judge, she often opens up about the mental side of recovery, rest, and resilience. Recently, Teddi explained that staying connected to her support system has made all the difference. Some days are tougher than others, and she tries to stay honest about that, not just for viewers but for herself. Rest is part of healing, she explained during a Q&A with her audience. You don't have to pretend to be strong all the time. Sometimes strength is saying, "I need a break." She also shared thoughtful advice for friends and family who want to support someone going through anything emotionally or physically taxing. "Be present," she said. "Sometimes the best thing you can do is listen and let them feel what they're feeling without trying to fix everything. Just knowing someone is there can make a huge difference." A wider circle of support. Through it all, Teddi hasn't just had Kyle in her corner. She's had many of her Bravo friends cheering her on. When members of the Fox Force 5 reunited recently, the energy between them was warm and celebratory, showing that the bonds formed on RHOBH can extend far beyond the screen. Kyle, Dorit, Erica, and the rest of the group made it clear that no matter how chaotic the franchise becomes, the friendships built off-camera still hold weight. Their reunion lunch turned into a moment of joy for fans who love seeing real companionship amid the show's drama. A sisterhood that endures. As both Kyle and Teddi look ahead to new chapters, individually and together, there's no question that their connection is one built to last. The challenges they faced have only reinforced their appreciation for one another. "You don't get many friendships like this in your life," Kyle reflected. "We've grown together. We've supported each other through things we never expected, and that brings a closeness you can't replace." Teddi echoes the sentiment, often saying how grateful she is to have someone who understands her past, supports her present, and believes in her future. Rebuilding, one conversation at a time. One of the things Kyle has often mentioned is how healing it can be to talk through difficult emotions with someone who doesn't judge you. With Teddi, those conversations flowed effortlessly. They both understood what it felt like to be strong for their families, to keep working through personal changes, and to process emotional weight while still living much of their lives under public scrutiny. Their phone calls often stretched late into the night. Sometimes they talked about their kids and how the transitions at home were affecting them. Other times, they talked about the strange mix of freedom and anxiety that comes with building a new routine after a major change. And sometimes, they didn't talk about anything heavy at all. They watched shows together over the phone, shared funny stories from their day, or complained about something simple like a grocery store being out of their favorite snacks. It was those little, everyday moments that made their friendship feel like a safe place to land. Kyle once said, "When you go through something painful, you start to look around and see who stays close." Teddi stayed close. She didn't need an explanation. She just showed up. The emotional reality behind the cameras. While fans often see the polished version of Beverly Hills living, the truth behind the scenes can look very different. The women still deal with heartbreak, exhaustion, worry, and the day-to-day challenges that come with balancing families, careers, and personal evolution. Kyle and Teddi's shared history on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills meant that each woman had a front-row seat to the other's most vulnerable moments. They had filmed fights, reconciliations, family milestones, and emotional breakdowns. And through all of that, their bond only strengthened. Even after Teddi left the show, their friendship not only survived but deepened. Without the pressure of filming dynamics, they had more space to reconnect as individuals, not just as castmates. Kyle has often said that one of the greatest gifts of her time on rhobh has been the friendships that lasted even after the cameras stopped rolling. And Teddi? She feels the same. The show might have brought them together, but real life is what made them stay in each other's orbits. The unspoken language between close friends. One of the most remarkable things about Kyle and Teddi's friendship is how intuitive it has become. They can sense when the other is overwhelmed or holding something back, even if nothing is said outright. Teddi once joked during an interview that Kyle had a sixth sense for when she was stressed. She'll text something like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "How did you know? I haven't even said anything." Likewise, Kyle has shared that Teddi often calls at the exact moment she needs a boost. "It's almost freaky," Kyle laughed. "She'll call at the very moment I'm doubting myself about something, and she'll say exactly the thing I needed to hear." This kind of connection doesn't happen often. It's built over years of shared experiences, late-night venting sessions, family holidays, birthday celebrations, and constant check-ins. A new chapter in their friendship. As both women adjusted to new rhythms in their lives, they began spending more time together once again. Brunches that used to happen every few weeks suddenly became weekly. Afternoon walks, workout check-ins, and spontaneous coffee runs slowly returned to their schedules. Kyle has talked about how grounding it feels to spend time with someone who understands her without explanation. "There's no pressure," she said. "There's no performance. It's just easy." Teddi feels the same way. Having a friend who knows you so well that you don't have to pretend is a rare gift. especially now as she prioritizes rest, mental balance, and long-term well-being. Having that kind of emotional support has meant everything to her. The power of community and support. Teddi has repeatedly shared that while she tries to stay strong for herself and her family, moments of vulnerability still come. And she has been honest about how important it is to have people in your life who make space for those moments. People who let you rest, let you process, and let you feel all the emotions that come with difficult times.